Obsession isn't a dirty word. It's a word thrown around by the undisciplined and the weak of mind. It's used as a disparagement to those who are willing to commit, to follow through, to do the things that are necessary and required when easier ways are available. It's used to explain away why those who don't have and those who do have. It's a word used as a negative, as something to be avoided. But it's the word that allows you to achieve great things, allows you to do things that, well, others can't. There is no balance in life. There is ups and downs and highs and lows and valleys and peaks. If you're seeking balance, you have zero, you have nothing, you are not achieving anything. Obsession is the key that is a requirement to achieving things that most people could never dream of. Obsession isn't your dirty word, it is something that is necessary for your greatness. And you must learn to embrace that. People will call you obsessed. People will try to denigrate you and throw you off and pull you back to their level because your quote-unquote obsession makes them look bad, makes them question their own decisions, holds up a mirror and forces them to reflect on their own. It is the tool that you use to achieve your greatness, and it is the one that highlights their own obsession. But it's the dirty one, the societally acceptable one, the obsession with sedation, with mediocrity, the obsession with staying comfortable. But that's not how the world views it. They just view that as normal because the large majority of the population live in that world. It doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it a healthy choice. It just means that it is the average. But the point of this life is not to be average. The point of this life is to see how great you can be in whatever capacity that might be for you. The greatest father, the greatest worker, the greatest businessman, the greatest athlete, the greatest whatever. And it might be only in your small little field. It might be only in your family. It might be in your small community. But pushing for greatness is a hugely beneficial and important choice. More than ever, I feel like we men need that obsession with our own greatness, and not at the detriment of others, which always seems to be the standardized answer to people who choose and obsess over mediocrity, is that they always throw it as, well, you're obsessed with your body, your career, with your effort. You'll neglect your family, those you care about. You tie your self-worth to how you look, the things you achieve. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. You can have an obsession with being the greatest version of you and still be a great father, be a hands-on, be present. But again, those obsessed with mediocrity, those obsessed with staying comfortable, cannot fathom a world where you can have both. Where you can choose presence with your children, with your wife, with those who matter to you, and choose to uphold the highest levels of your commitment and follow through. They cannot possibly conceptualize that you could do it all, because that would require sacrifice. It would require not the sacrificing of those who you love and adore, but sacrificing the unimportant. The things that don't matter, those sedations, those comfortabilities that they cling so hard to. Therefore, it is an impossibility. So they throw those slanderous words that you're obsessed, not realizing that that should be a badge of honor, a sign that you are doing great things, a sign that you are exactly on the path that you are meant to be. Because you are obsessed with pushing your limits, with seeing how far you can take this, to pushing to your greatness. Isn't that the best way to spend a life? in the pursuit of your own greatness. Again, not at the sacrifice of your family, not with the sacrifice of time and presence with those who matter, but because of, in aid of, for them. That's why you do it. That's why you leave it all out there. So that you aren't this terrible example of sedation, of comfort, of ease, of giving up on your dreams, of giving up on those things that matter. You are the shining beacon of what is possible at any fucking age. That you are able to continue pushing forward no matter what. That is what you pursue. That is what is necessary. That is what is required. That you leave it all out there every single day. That you channel that obsession into delivering more for your family. That you use that obsession to leave it all out there. That when you lay your head on your pillow, you know that there was nothing more that you could give. And you rest deeply, waiting for the next day to do it all again. But not for the detriment, but for the betterment of your family. That you make those choices because they deserve the greatest version of you. They deserve better, they deserve more, they deserve that you show up on a different level. But, as I said, there will always be those who want to dismiss you. They want to pull you down. And they will be there, and the further you pursue this, the further you push into this obsession, as they call it, the more they will rise, the more they will be there, the more they will taunt you and talk about you. But remember, those words mean that you are in exactly where you are meant to be. Those words mean that you are doing exactly what you were called to do, because you are shining a light on the average, on the mediocrity that they choose to embrace. You shine a light on the comfort that they refuse to give up to pursue their greatness. That is the best sign that you are doing exactly what you are meant to do. But obsession is a hard word. Obsession is one that will come with a price tag. As I said, it will come at the price of your comforts, of your sedations, of an ease of life. Well, what's the point of an easy life if it doesn't lead anywhere? If it doesn't advance you towards anything, if it doesn't create anything of value, if it's just a life on repeat, the same 12 months over and over and over again, waiting till you die, that's not a life worth living. That's a life of existence waiting till the end. But a life of obsession, a life of commitment to the highest level in all areas of fitness, of health, of wealth, of family, of success, of physical improvement and mental discipline. That is a life worth living. That is a life worth chasing. In fact, it's the only one of value. But you will lose people along the way. People, as I said, will want to throw these words at you like they are dismissive and destructive. And you should use them as uplifting and guiding. You should use them as the beautiful beacon that they are. Because you are damn right, I am obsessed. Because I don't want to continue down the path that I was on. I don't want to continue down the path that you were on. I want to continue down the path to my highest level. The strongest, fittest, healthiest version of me. The most successful version of me. The greatest father I can be. The most well-developed and educated man I can be. I want to push in every possible capacity. I want to show up every day as the greatest version of me, knowing that I will never catch that. I will never achieve it. There is no point where enough is enough. But that is not a problem. It is only a problem if I lose focus on why I do it. It's only a problem if I lose sight of the things that matter. It is not, dysphoria. It's not body dysmorphia. It is the pursuit of what we were put on this earth to be. It is a pursuit that we were meant to have, that is burned deep inside of us, something that we all need to find and chase. But somewhere along the lines, we were told that it was egotistical, it was toxic masculinity, it was a negative thing. to chase our greatness, that we shouldn't set the standards so high. You should set the standards so unbelievably high that you have to step up every single day just in the hope of reaching them. Not in a perfectionism level, but in the level of constantly pushing forward. And this is not a broad strokes, it is a nuanced and subtle state of being that we must pursue. This pursuit of greatness, this pursuit of the highest possible standards, the pursuit of a greater version of ourselves, of blissful dissatisfaction, of chasing something beyond what we know is possible, and then pushing further again. It is only in this belief and this format that we can truly find out who we are and who we're willing to be by pushing these levels. It's only with the raising of the standards, of the obsession to be the greatest version, can we see what we are truly capable of, and then raising the bar on a consistent level. This isn't a calling for the meek. This isn't a calling for your average person. This is a calling for you. And only you can decide based on what you have deep inside. Only you can decide if you have that call to greatness. I firmly believe that we all have it. It's just been squashed down, waiting to be reignited, waiting to be sparked back to life. But when you find it, you find your calling. You find what you were meant for. And at that point, you find that you were meant for so much more than what you were settling for. Remember, we do not rise to our standards, we fall to our habits. So raise those standards, find a group, find a mentor, find someone to push you forward, find someone to demand the greatness of you, and start chasing it. Set those standards high and make sure you have the habits in place and the discipline and the accountability to keep pushing you towards it every single day. So if you are ready to reignite that spark, if you are ready to see what is on the other side, if you are ready to stop accepting your mediocrity and start demanding your greatness, you know where to find me.